Starting to notice a very familiar pattern, at least as far as this weekend is concerned. Here on Cricbuzz Comm Box, I'm joined by Michael Vaughan. Michael, yesterday we saw something very similar from two sides who had won the toss and decided to bat first. A total somewhere in the region of 60 or 65, keeping wickets in hand to go hard in the back 10.
Yeah, and the pitch looks a little bit tricky. I mean, it's a huge wicket. It's getting slower, and it will get slower. So you can imagine Rashid Khan just sat in that dugout, licking his lips for whatever the Sunrisers can get. He'll fancy defending it. And even if they get 140, 145, I don't think it's going to be an easy chase. You can see the balls just kind of stopping in the surface. There's a little bit of spin. Lots of slow balls. Cutters are going to be hard to hit off the seamers. So the Sunrisers have played the smart game. I think that's what I would describe the Sunrisers as being. They're a smart cricket team. They have been for a few years. They generally know how to get a score. They don't always get the big scores, but they always seem to just get enough, knowing that they've got the likes of Rashid Khan to defend it later on.
Yeah, we talk about the explosion of a Warner-Bairstow partnership, but the surfaces do dictate what they might play. And when you see Warner 30 of 25 deliveries, somewhere around 110, 120, you know he's playing the surface as opposed to playing the David Warner game.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's got so much experience, and he's he's not just a crasher. You can see he's kind of trying to hit the ball into the pockets and running twos. If the ball's full enough, and it looks like it has to be full enough for you to really climb into it to get the ball over the rope. Anything on a good length, it doesn't look the kind of wicket that you can just hit through the line of the ball and trust that the ball's going to come off the surface consistently. They look in the game. I mean, clearly batting first has been a huge factor at the stadium in Dubai. And whatever they get, it's going to be difficult for Rajasthan Royals to chase down later on because of the surface and because the Sunrisers generally are good at defending.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of action tends generally to happen in the 11th over, because even though it's not after a timeout, we've seen wickets fall in the 11th over, not just because, as we call it, the Cricbuzz Comm Box, but because teams tend to reassess the front 9 or the front 10. I'm thinking golf already. The front 10 and the back 10. And again, already we've seen Warner get a little aggressive against Kartik Tyagi, the wicket taker, 6 and a 4 straight after the break.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens. You reassess, you get yourself into a strong foundation, which they've done. And then it's about, accelerating. We saw Virat Kohli do that on this venue yesterday. Got in, played nice, and all of a sudden, boom, went into life. And it's been a good tactic so far from the Sunrisers, but they're still going to have players that can, kind of go up into the gears. And the easiest one to do that is David Warner, because he's already had 10 overs assessing the conditions. Well, it'll be difficult for new batsmen coming out there. So it's kind of wicket. That player takes responsibility to bat the full innings.
Yes, it was going to be my next question, because we saw yesterday Dinesh Karthik for KKR, Virat Kohli for RCB doing exactly that. They were in that first 10 and they stayed in till the very end. So you reckon that David Warner, also one common factor he has with those two gentlemen, he's the skipper, so literally leading from the front.
Yeah, and there's no better way to lead than being out in the middle batting. He'll know from batting on the surface for 10 overs exactly the kind of score that he'll fancy defending. And I'm pretty sure it won't be the 170, 180. He'll know anything around 150 plus is going to be very, very difficult for the Rajasthan Royals to get. Beyond that's a bonus, but he'll be thinking of that target and making sure they get to that number.
Yeah, fair enough. That's the assessment from Michael Vaughan. First assessment is get to 150, 160. And then like we saw with KKR and RCB, anything around 170, 180 can be a bonus. But at the moment, it looks like the Sunrisers know what they're doing. Plenty to do for Steve Smith and company. This was Cricbuzz Comm Box. We'll assess it at the end of the innings on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live.